Welcome back, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. It's something a little bit different, but without further ado, let's hop right in. First up, I want to talk about Webkins. Released in 2005, Webkins was a phenomenon near me. I remember some kids at my school would even have nets on their walls filled with Webkins. Now, I think I only had 3 or 4 Webkins before I grew out of it, but I never forgot how awesome and how integral Webkins was to kind of starting my gaming journey as a kid. Now, if you've never heard of Webkins, I'm going to give you a quick rundown. You can buy a plush toy like a dog or a cat, and that would come with a code. You could input that code into a game online, and there you could care for your virtual pet. You can make money or Kins Cash by playing games. You could then use that money to purchase things to furnish your home, dress your pet, or even take a relaxing day off at the spa. Many of us spent hours meticulously arranging our furniture, and a lot of these furniture sets were very gaudy. I just want to put that out there. A lot of them are not quite my style, but there was one that I was drawn to a little more than others, and that is the Regency set. Now let's move on from Webkins for a quick sec, and we will get back to that, I promise. Fast forward to 2014, and we have the Elder Scrolls Online, an MMORPG, aka a massive multiplayer online role-playing game set in the rich world of Tamriel. While ESO offers epic quests and combat, a significant aspect of the game is getting enough money to get your own home and then furnish that home. And there are so many sets to choose from, I had a terribly hard time choosing just one to focus on today, but the Alinor Crest Townhouse caught my eye, and I could not say no. Now, on the surface, Webkins and ESO couldn't be more different. One is a charming world of virtual pets aimed at a younger audience, the other a vast fantasy RPG with complex lore and combat. Their target audience, gameplay loops, and overall feel couldn't be further apart. Yes, in Webkins, it was about making your pet feel at home, and in ESO, it's about relaxing after the inevitable bloodshed. Just think about it. The satisfaction of finally getting that perfect couch in Webkins, which is never cheap, by the way, or carefully placing that polished wardrobe in your Alinor Crest townhouse. It's about ownership, creativity, and a sense of accomplishment. This brings us to Vintage Story, a survival sandbox game from 2016 that emphasizes realism and intricate crafting. If you've been here before, you might have heard of Vintage Story. If you haven't been here, this is Vintage Story. Here, there are no virtual catalogs or instant furniture placements. Every piece of furniture you see has been painstakingly crafted by hand, block by block, voxel by voxel, using my chisel. And this is really what I love about Vintage Story. You don't have to play Vintage Story in Vintage Story. You can play Webkins in Vintage Story. You can play ESO, kind of. There are so many paths you can take in Vintage Story, and decorating is just one of them. It's something I've dedicated hundreds of hours of my life to, and I don't regret one bit. So without further ado, here are some cinematics. Of course, I've recreated the Regency set from Webkins, and I've recreated bits and pieces of the Alinor set. There's a lot, so I'm choosing my favorite pieces and kind of matching in variety to the Webkins kit. Looking back at Webkins, ESO, and even games like Animal Crossing, The Sims, or Stardew Valley, one truth remains. Many games at their core are about creating and curating a personal space. Whether it's a simple pet room, a sprawling mansion, or a meticulously crafted homestead, the desire to decorate, to personalize our environments is a powerful element in gaming. It is something that needs to be in game. If a game does not have personalizable, is that a word? If you cannot personalize your experience in a game, you will not see me in that game. I don't want the same cookie cutter gaming experience that everyone else is having. I want the ability to craft and curate it myself. So, the next time you find yourself spending hours arranging virtual furniture, remember that you're participating in a long and beloved tradition in gaming. From the whimsical world of Webkins to the grand estates of ESO, and finally the handcrafted creations of Vintage Story, the joy of making a space your own transcends genres, graphics, and generations. Okay, this is the point where I was going to end the video, but I realized that what I thought would be like 10 minutes turned into like 4 minutes. So instead of ending the video here, which, I mean, that's 4 minutes for over 30 hours of painstaking detail that I do not really want to go to waste here. So why don't we instead just pop out here and go a little bit in depth with our furniture, and we can actually start off with this bed here because this was the last thing to be chiseled. And I don't know if you can tell by the love, quote unquote love put into it. Wait a second. Something's going on here with this bed. Okay, well, we've got an issue right off the bat. So if you don't look too closely, this bed looks really good. And I think it's functional. Let's just put a decorative chest, and I'll also put a reference up on the screen so you can see what the polished single bed looks like from the Alinor set. We've got our decorative bed. We're just going to take a copy of that, destroy it, set that down. It's going to be backwards. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. Well, I do have, like, the level correct, but I don't have the direction correct. That's okay, that's okay. I wish I could put a lot more detail because the Alinor furniture set is very detailed. I'm working with voxels here. Wow, that bugs me so much down there. Oh my god. Okay, that looks a lot better, actually. Since we've started with the bed, let's move on to everything else. And actually, I'm going to scoot right past some of this stuff. We're going to start with this bookshelf. I've had a bit of trouble with it, I won't lie. In the beginning, I intended to make it actual functional, shelves. However, I found that with it being a 4-shelf situation, I could probably do, one here, one here, one here, one here, right? Okay. However, this is 5 blocks. So for 4 shelves, 5 blocks, it didn't look great. And then I logged out once. And if I can find the footage, I'll put it up. But I logged back in and it was all destroyed. So in the end, I said, screw that. I'm going to just chisel the shelves individually. And we won't have to worry about anything happening with the functionality of them messing with, like, the textures. One of my favorite features, actually, with the chisel is the ability here now to flip textures. So I can change the texture of this block versus these blocks. And that's how, I have, like, the wood grain going horizontally and then here in the center vertically. And at the bottom, horizontally once again. I actually love the wardrobe. The wardrobe has to be one of my favorites. I don't want to talk about that. I could fix that. And actually, you know what? I'll just tell you how. If you're having an issue making the ends of your logs look neat, all you have to do is grab the plank version. If you take the plank version and you just insert that into your chiselable, materials, then I'm using the True Chisel, but you can also use a paintbrush. Highly recommend the True Chisel, though. It's a little expensive, but it is worth it. So grab that, then you hit this drawing tool right here. I usually just take, we'll go with that for now. We're just gonna fill it up kind of like this. Sorry, for a second, my brain was thinking that, it was like 1 block in itself, in which case, if this were a 1 block chisel, I would leave like the edges kind of looking rough. But you do want this one to blend a little bit more. And then your wood grain kind of, listen, you could have a circle there, or you could have it kind of at least look like it's supposed to be there. And I think that has a better look to it than that. Since we're here, let's move on to this rug, which at first I was like, oh, okay, we're doing bright color, but with the banner back here, I think it ties in really well. But I tried to get what I could in terms of a pattern. I'm noticing, boop, there we go. Gotta make it symmetrical. And we'll just move right on to these curtains, actually. These are fabulous. One of my favorite parts of QP's chisel tools is the function of flipping. So Thank God I only had to do half of this. Then I was able to flip it. Same with these windows. I tried to get it in somewhat of an Alinor townhouse style. It's not perfect at all by any means, but I think it looks good. Now the banner was definitely a bit trickier. I had a bit of a hard time with this one. It's not super accurate exactly. I mean, we've got these little, whatever these are called. We've got the sun, we've got the bird. What the heck? I had much more important things to work on, like making this pot. Let's move on to this insane table, which, oh my good God. Again, what is happening here? There we go. I would say this is probably one of the more detailed builds, but it might be a little too big, and unfortunately this top piece is a separate piece. Now, behind the table, I've chosen to put up this massive wall divide. This thing, I thought it would be harder than it was, but with the chisel tool's ability to flip things and turn things around, it was a lot easier to get the exact shape and to get, you know, it placed where I wanted. I've got most of the detail in here. The only issue is that when you're looking straight on, let's say from like over here, you're losing a lot of the detail. So maybe in the future I would have done possibly either a different texture of the wood or just a different kind of wood. Okay, we need to keep removing. Let's go on to the trunk. Trunk was simple, very easy to replicate. I think it's pretty accurate. I haven't turned it into a decorative chest, but it very well could be. It's 2 pieces. You only need to make one half, and then you've got the other half. On this side, you can see that I used the technique I mentioned earlier to place... Actually, so here's a fun thing. With the Alinor set, I use mostly debarked walnut. However, I've learned that if you start with this side texture, turn that into a chiseled block, and then add the debarked log back, you've got both to choose from, which I love. I love that. Just a little chisel tip if you wanted. These chairs, let's talk about these chairs. The details, everything is so hard to replicate. I think they came out really good, but I just wish that I could put every little detail in. And they definitely would be if it wasn't to scale, but I did want to keep it to scale. For once, okay? I just wanted to try something new. And if you're afraid of, chiseling out a circle, you could start with this hexagon side table. This thing is, it's to scale, and you can also put whatever you like on it. You can see it's right up there to the top block ledge. I just kind of, I don't know, it was one of the more simple things. I enjoyed that. This was an intricate build. This is my artistic rendition of the ornate wall mirror. It's not accurate at all. That about covers it for the Alinor set. Let's head over to our Webkins area here. This is the Webkins set. I don't know if you can instantly tell, but a lot more time and care has been put into it. My hands were still fresh as a daisy when I started on this set, and a lot of things could easily work into the scale of Vintage Story. Let's just start at the door. We've got a sink. This is a non-functioning item in-game, which I'm upset about now that I've spent too much Kins cash on it. But I think it's pretty accurate. We've got 3 legs, kind of meets in the middle. It's not like super, well, it's hard with the triangles, getting everything to work perfectly. But I think in this case, I think a lot of the things here in this set did very well. They worked themselves very well into Vintage Story, like this planter right here. What I find to be strange is that a lot of these planters are empty. That is my fault. I just haven't fixed it after the one QP chisel tool issue I had. But I'm a huge fan of these tall ferns, so we're gonna grab some tall ferns. Oh, I need to actually get the plans. So over here, I've got the plans. We just need to find which one like that. Center click. Take your copy over here and let's destroy these. Oh, that would have worked too. All right, new planter, boop, and you've got yourself a fern. There's a fern more accurate to the game, I think the eagle fern. Let's try it here. There we go. I would say that's super accurate to the game, actually. Something has gone wrong with this side table here. It used to have like a whole different situation that would match. It basically matches this. Has a little cloth over it. You can see it in the reference picture, but you definitely can't see it now. It seems to be missing its top. Let's move on to happier occasions. For instance, this couch is very accurate. You've got a few roses up front. You've got a little flower pattern here. You finally have a use for your peridot. I mean, prior to this, I actually didn't like peridot at all, but it works really well in this set. One of my favorite items I'm staring at right now is the fainting couch, this chase lounge. Oh, I love it. I want one in real life. I could probably replace one of these with a bed function and you could lay down. Now, this table right here is not anywhere in the game. I just needed a coffee table, really. And so I took the table right here, the nightstand, which is accurate in game, and I kind of just modified it. Took it down a level, replaced the top with glass, and smushed a couple of them together. And now you've got a coffee table, not accurate again, just one of my own pieces. And not all of them are accurate. Okay, some of these things need a little artistic help because I really wasn't vibing with like adding a bunch of pink into this situation. For instance, the curtains have a pink stripe. That wasn't gonna happen. I wasn't doing that. And I also felt like the sheer part covered up too much of the window and I still wanted access to walk directly to the window. So I just kind of parted it a little bit more. The dresser was really fun. Again, I really wish that I could make it into a decorative chest, but I will just try this one more time. Let's take that, we're gonna break it, put that in, and unfortunately that's what happens. The texture changes, it comes to the front, so I just left it alone. Listen, if I need storage, I could do this, right? Add your chests, add the floor. Then I've got high capacity floor storage, and you still got your dresser, and whoever this beautiful redheaded woman is. Of course, we needed lighting, so I've added a little candelabra, accurate to the game, check reference. Since everything is an even amount of voxels, I had to kind of put the center one off, but I think it works out, and that means we've worked our way over to the pinnacle of what I think is the Webkins set. And it's this gorgeous canopy bed. This canopy bed, I do not know if you can tell, but it's the first thing I made and it has got a lot of love in it. It is functional and you can have a double bed, so you can have somebody sleeping on the other side. It's perfect, except now it's nighttime. But we can fix that. So I'm very happy to say that this bed is super functional. Not only is it functional, but you can also jump up. My last canopy bed, you could not get inside it. I think that was over a year ago now that I made it. And I was definitely discouraged by the fact that you couldn't even use it. And not only is it to scale, it's accurate to Webkins, and it is usable. You can use it. Anything else you see, anything I haven't really touched on? Like, okay, I got the wallpaper and the flooring pretty accurate, but there is a painting that I just made. I just needed to fill the space. That's the vibe. So I'm so glad you guys have come along with me. Now I will do the outro. Thank you guys so much for watching. This episode took a little bit longer to get out. As always, life happens. This episode has over 30 hours of chiseling, not to mention the time I spent writing a script. And if you like this wackier showcase video, let me know in the comment section down below. Leave a like, let me know what you're thinking, and I hope to see you all very soon. Bye-bye!